time has it been?
No.
What time has it been?
No, Johnny.
Say it!
I don't wanna!
Say it!
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Here's Peak podcast. I am your host, Chris, and I am here with... Oh, I didn't change my name. God. Damn it.
Doesn't
That's
matter. It
not
doesn't.
right. Doesn't
Nobody
show up,
sees it.
Nobody sees it.
That
But
should be a blooper. That's gotta be an outro.
I'm not actually Chris. I'm sorry. I'm here to tell you guys that I am changing my... Anyway, I'm here with my wonderful co-hosts and friends, James and Mike. How are you guys doing?
Well, I'm not from this particular universe. I just came from another universe. I'm confused as hell here. I'm like, slavery existed? What the fuck? Y'all allow that shit to happen?
It's the darkest
Yeah,
timeline.
This
everyone?
is the darkest timeline. Jesus.
God, go send me back to my timeline, please.
All right, Mike. Do you have anything
Yeah.
to say about our timeline?
Oh yeah.
All right. So today we are talking about the Fantastic Four, the first steps. This is the first family of Marvel finally gets their due. 2025. First time in the actual MCU, not just like, hey, technically they're a part of the MCU because of the multiverse. This is really them, and we really got something interesting to show for it. Positivity, the king of 2025 superhero movies. Now, this was directed by, let's see here, I looked him up.
Matt Shankman, I believe.
Matt
Matt
Shackman,
Shackman.
Yeah.
And interesting, very TV heavy, but TV you love. Monarch, Legacy of Monsters, WandaVision.
Yep.
Okay, TV I love. The Boys, Billions, Game of Thrones, Always Sunny. The works.
Talented writer.
Talented. He's the director.
I'm
Now,
sorry,
the
talented
writer-
director.
The
Talented
writers.
director. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he wrote it.
The writers are Josh Friedman, Eric Pearson, and Jeff Kaplan. I look them up again. A lot of television. So Marvel is definitely bringing in more TV writers. These guys are from Foundation, Snowpiercer, but he also worked on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I thought was pretty good. You know, Terminator: Dark Fate, not so great. You know,
All right, let's stop right there.
They have
Stop.
some iffy ones, but you know, so as we can see, when you have a writer's room, you're gonna have some hits and misses. It's fine. So anyway, we finally get a good one. Definitely better than expected. Let me say, as we start this, watching the trailers was tough on this movie. They all felt really flat. So
I remember.
I
I remember you were critiquing it.
dropped my expectations quite a bit watching those. They didn't let Johnny and Ben like bicker at all in the trailers. I felt no heat in the in the relationships. So I was going in very cold. So I just want to ask if you guys had any similar questions going into this with the advertising, or just from obviously the terrible history of Fantastic Four in movies.
I know I did, Chris. Because like you, I saw a lot of the early art that was being released, leaked, whatever you want to believe, the Disney machine. And then that first trailer, and I felt like it was a mid trailer, but because of Marvel's history and credit, I'm like, I have to give it the benefit of the doubt. They're holding back probably a lot more. They're just giving us a flavor of what the movie will visually look like, what the characters will look like, and without their power sets, because we didn't see Mr. Fantastic, whatever, but just give them the tone. This is the tone of what this movie is going to be like. The retro, futuristic, oxymoronic 1960s. You're going to get a lot of that. It's going to be filled with old fashioned, but not really too old fashioned. And you're going to get, a plot, something that's happening. So to me, I held back reserve because I felt like even though that trailer was mid, that this movie was probably going to be better than what I'm seeing right now in the trailer. So That's where I was in the land of expectations.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Like the first trailer came out, I was like, okay. But as more and more came out, I started to get more impressed, especially when they showed Galactus, and I was like, oh, good, he's not a cloud. And
He's not just a giant steam vent.
yeah, and we
Right?
saw a Silver Surfer, and I thought she looked great. So, I was
Mhm.
starting to get more hype for it. Um, but yeah, initially I was a little worried, but I think after watching the movie, I'm over all of that.
Okay. All right. So I think with this, what we're going to talk about, it's a much simpler overall movie than say Superman, which
I agree.
Um, so it's going to be pretty much a straight shot of let's talk about the Fantastic Four, let's talk about our antagonists, and we'll get around to other stuff. But I think it's important because the first family of Marvel, what we need from them is to be and something Marvel's been looking for recently is a character to draw or characters to draw the audience back in, characters that the audience will care for and want to know about. And no offense, there hasn't been a lot. There's been a few that I personally like, but there really hasn't been a lot drawing big crowds. So let's see if this can be the thing. Let's start right off the top. Reed Richards, not a character that I have had any love for, any care about. I've not really read I never really read Fantastic Four as a kid. He never seemed like a character I really could connect with. And the little bits, as a comic nerd, people will share funny clips or funny panels, and you see him and he's a big asshole, just straight up as a character. And so like I never connected to him. So Pedro Pascal as like obviously being the television dad of the last decade here, um
Mm.
really did something for me, really pulled something out of this character that got me interested and involved in this, and I think that was awesome. What did you guys think of Mr. Fantastic, Pedro Pascal? Any history, blah blah
Well, as Mike ponders his thoughts here, I just want to start by saying the first thing with the Fantastic Four, because it's going to be the same comment for each character as we down the road. Not a very well like team, from my opinion, and probably most of Marvel fans from the '60s onwards. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, phenomenal setup. You wanted something different, a little family unit as a team. Boom, it worked then. Start to pale down, and then the '80s cartoons came. In the '90s, there was a whole bunch of crossovers that involved the Fantastic Four, including the infamous Infinity Gauntlet.
blah.
So they really were at the forefront of some of these crossover stories because of Doctor Doom, which is going to be the ultimate antagonist, not just for this team, but for all of Marvel.
Hmm.
And the comics that involved Richards using his intellect versus Doom was also a very intellectual antagonist. Was like that strife was, to me, was the most entertaining of the character. I think, again, I'm going to say this: all four characters, although not the best Marvel team, not even the mid level for me, because you know what? It's not fair to them. The Incredibles came out and gave me what the Fantastic Four should be like.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
exactly.
Hmm.
So take that out of the equation. Just focus on these four of each singular character. I think, other than their powers and how they related to each other, there wasn't much going into this movie that was going to wow me. I
Hmm.
just had terrible experiences of the Fantastic Four, both that bootleg movie that never came out in the live action movies. So going into this, when you ask me what did I, the Reed Richards character, I'm looking at a whole smorgasbord of failed versions of this character, or just not interested versions of this character. Like this, other than like a couple of major Marvel cross stories, including where he becomes the ultimate scientist supreme, there wasn't that many stories that really captured my attention for this character. So Pedro Pascal, I gave him so much leeway. I was like, show me, don't show me what I've already seen before, because those are failures. Show me your version of this character and whatever the writers put together, and I was actually impressed. Yes, if you want to nitpick from what you know of the comic books versus this version, yeah, you could do that to death. But that's been like Chris Evans, Captain America isn't the
Right.
version that we get in the comic books. or the animated shows. So we got to be fair to Pedro Pascal, and I think his character, um, although not the heaviest of the heavy characters' performances, and we know Pedro can act, but this character, the story around the character and the performance of this character to me was definitely better than all preceding versions. But let's not go crazy. It was a very low bar to begin with.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, so I've kind of always been a fan of the Fantastic Four. Like, I enjoyed them. Like,
Excuse me. I knew you through all high school. It was news to me.
no, the thing is, yeah, they weren't very popular,
He
right?
read your
So
diary and
it's
it
not
said
like,
nothing about the Fantastic
I mean,
Four.
Not at
when
all.
we
It was
were in
all
high
X Men,
school,
X Men,
it
X Men.
was all about the X Men. You know what I mean? And
See?
so I get it, and I like the characters, and Pedro. I thought he brought it. The man oozes charisma.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The only problem I see going forward is I think one of the issues the MCU has now is the lack of that charismatic leader. And even though Pedro,
Ooh.
even though,
I'm holding on to this point. I thought somewhere near the end we're going to talk about moving forward.
yeah,
I think his character is going to be very pivotal in the next two movies.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
so too. But the problem is, even though Pedro's very charismatic, Reed Richards is not. Reed Richards is almost he's like on the spectrum.
That's true.
Yes, but in the comic books, there were times where he was, the Illuminati, different versions of Reed, where he was understood as like the leader for intergalactic missions.
So, and the difference between him and say RDJ's Tony Stark and Chris Evans is Captain America's Tony is charming, and people love watching him. And Cap is that guy, that motivational guy that got you inspired.
Effable.
And I don't think Reed is either of those guys. So I don't know if they're gonna try to make him like, especially when Doomsday comes out, to be the head of this new group. You know?
Yes, I have thoughts.
Well,
I have
we'll
thoughts.
get
ahead,
to that
David.
later because
And that's where you could allow Pedro to cook.
Okay.
I think there's something fascinating. We're talking about Reed Richards anyway. Something fascinating that happens in this movie. Although I don't think he had the best character arc and his best performance, but there was key moments where he was going off against Sue, and he showed that he has some supreme confidence in his intellect,
Mm.
but he has doubt on how he relays and communicates that, and the decision. Like he's like almost binary,
Mhm.
black white, but then he's trying to hone in on the emotion. Like it's his son,
Yeah.
but he has calculated giving up his son. It's
Mhm.
in the equation, so it's
Mhm.
like I don't know, a hyper version of Doctor Strange, where you're so knowledgeable in everything, yet you're battling your own empathy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they started to give you a little bit of like that near the end of the movie, where they had to pivot real quick when they realized that the space portal, which was a crazy idea to begin with,
Right.
wasn't going to work, and he pivoted quickly. And they're showing you his intellect is of that superior level, but then when Sue comes up to him is like, I'm not giving up, babe, whatever, and then he reacts. That I think because he played off of Vanessa Kirby's character,
Mm.
you get to see the real Pedro Pascal beyond just the script of his character. I think the Russo brothers, no offense to Matt Chalkman, I think the Russo brothers were able to get that out of Pedro Pascal.
Well, and also like as a
Mm.
character, Reed Richards, the reason he's the one you follow because he's the smartest guy in the room, and like so the reason you follow Captain America is one thing. The reason you follow Tony Stark is one thing. The reason you follow Reed Richards is because,
Right.
and I don't want a new Captain America. But don't take that the wrong way. I don't want that same character to lead. I don't want the new Tony Stark to lead. I want a new character, and there's a different reason he leads the team, or
Yeah.
different
I
reason.
want the Scientist Supreme version.
And I don't
in
mind.
MCU.
Like it'd be interesting to see him against like Cumberbatch's
Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme, because the way they think and what they why the decisions they're making would be interesting to see that go against each other.
Yes.
And so,
And Russo brothers, I trust.
yeah, but what I worry about is I really enjoyed this version of Reed Richards. Just enough charm, super smart, has to make the tough decisions. I don't want him turned into something he's not. So,
Time out. Time out. Mike. Let's be fair. Christian Bale's Batman. Batman Begins.
mm,
Very simple version of Bruce Wayne slash the Dark Knight, right? In a Dark Knight, let's throw out Dark Knight Rises.
mm,
The middle movie, you've seen some years have passed by, and Christian Bale plays Bruce not as reckless and like confident. He starts putting doubt in that character,
mm,
and then he meets the ultimate antagonist too, which could help Doom and Richards. And then his lessons and his strength changes by the end of the movie. Where he finds himself, he has to make the ultimate sacrifice, not physical, but more symbolic.
right.
I think that this movie was the perfect version of Reed Richards because you didn't put him over the top. He didn't come out super heavy already.
Yeah.
Like he was like I thought at the beginning he was more like a college professor, to be honest with you. But you realize he's the smartest guy on the planet because of his inventions. So yeah, give me the somewhat two-dimensional Reed Richards now with Pedro Pascal
Mhm.
being outperformed by his co-star. But then in Doomsday and Secret Wars, give me the full, the full
Reed
level
Richards.
of Reed Richards, the Russo brothers version, the ultimate version, and let Pedro cook.
Okay.
I think because we don't need the Avengers right now. The next movie, we don't need a leader per se, because we never really had one. It was Cap's team, it was Iron Man's team. But if you could set up Reed Richards now and maybe Doctor Strangefield, I don't know what the other opposing, but I like Chris's idea. That's a great concept of a team led by these two
Mm.
into like an unbeatable.
Be a good
enemy.
dynamic because you're looking for that competing dynamic as much as you're looking for.
And then you pit them against Doctor Doom, who's not at their level in either craft, but is one of the best.
Doctor
Magic
Doom is
and
kind of the
science.
mix of those two guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, no matter
Who's
how
your
much
brothers? I hope
hate
you're
the
listening.
Magic Wave. Anyway, and I'm voting for a statue of Pedro Pascal to go up as the patron saint of complicated dads. So that's just me. I'm putting that out there right now. All right, we don't want to spend forever. Great
Move
job,
over,
Pedro.
James Earl Jones, freaking Lion King, Star Wars.
But
freaking Coming to America.
Coming to America. That's the one. Yeah, I was thinking.
Conan. That was a complicated dad figure for Conan.
Complicated
My
is the
son.
word you're throwing out there. Okay. Sue Storm. This seems to be. I'm gonna let James cook first here because he has obviously loved that.
She's definitely was a heavy. Again, going back to my Incredibles comparison, is they did it the best. But the Stanley and Jack Kirby, I thought probably second best. And this particular character, Sue Storm, to me, again, if it wasn't tied directly to Reed and the many crossovers that were happening, it was a joke of a power set, Invisible Girl. There's a lot of power sets in the 60s that just don't make sense now. But that one stuck around because of how iconic the character was, right? Like Batman, the ultimate example, right? So knowing the character to me was going to be kind of mundane. Jessica Alba was the best, I guess, prior to this. I underestimated what Vanessa Kirby can do, and I've seen her in a lot of other roles. But I have to give credit to the writers for this. I have to give credit to the director of her many scenes. Every moment that she was in play kept me glued to the screen. The speech at first, which is probably I saw that circulating across the social media. Was a little campy in the beginning, but it meant so much in the context of the movie when you see it as a whole. It was the totally opposite of Sam Wilson's freaking "We America Can Change" speech at the end of his TV show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. What you actually wanted him to. That's what I wanted my Cap to do, but no. Sue Storm did it. She was phenomenal. She definitely, to me, was hands down the best character in this movie, standalone character. Obviously, she's part of a team fighting against antagonists. It was great. It definitely outperformed all the previous, like you name it, Lois Lane. No offense to you. What's her name? Who plays a new Black Widow? Her face.
Yelena?
Florence Pugh.
Yelena?
Yeah, Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh Helena, no offense to you.
Oh, that's gonna be a tough one.
Harrison Ford Hulk,
I
no
don't.
offense to
I
you.
don't think I.
But she was hands down the best superhero character performance I've seen this year.
Wow,
It's high praise.
that is high praise.
And I don't know what TV shows we have. Daredevil, yeah. I mean, not say. Whoa, let me pause. It's getting late now. You're a little woozy off the sugar. No, there's definitely other contestants, but to me, I think she knocked it out the park.
Yeah. Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I love this version of the
You and
character.
Namor love Sue Storm and Mole Man
Uh,
and and Galactus, and everybody seems to love Sue Storm. What is it about Sue Storm?
It was a terrific character.
No, I mean like within the universe, everybody loves Sue Storm.
Oh, you mean who's in love with her?
Everybody
Oh, man.
loves Sue Storm in the universe.
Doesn't Reed? I mean, no, Doctor Doomfall's in love with her too. I think at some point.
Sorry,
in a
Mike.
comic.
I stepped
Well,
on
and
it
the
for a
Jessica
joke.
Alba
Go
one-
ahead.
Doom was in love with her too, right?
Well, man, that made sense. I was in love with her too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even this one was definitely top tier Sue Storm, but even the character written in the Alba one was pretty good. I thought she reined in Reed and her brother, but
She played big sister vibes.
yeah,
No thanks.
I know, but she is a big sister to Johnny, right? So, I don't know. I'm not gonna say. I rewatched the Tim Story version of Fantastic Four, and I enjoy it if it's on TV, right? Like it's campy and it's fun. But this one took it to another level. It was serious. It was, you know what I mean? There was depth to it. High stakes for her. Like, you're not taking my baby, you know?
The highest stakes.
Yeah. You're not taking my baby. I don't care. Like, when she was on the ship giving birth and she screams to Johnny, kill her.
Yeah.
Yo, I was like, damn. You don't mess with Mama Bear, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It's phenomenal.
yeah.
I'll say Sue Storm is one of those characters that throughout the ages has gotten a lot of short ends of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
and
agree.
again, I'm not like deep into the lore.
Because her power set.
But you see enough about the characters and you see what, various writers have put those characters through and you go, ooh, oh, really? That's what you're doing there? And so it does get to be fully fleshed out. She's not forced. She's in a mom role because she's a mom, not because she's the mom of the group, right? She's a wife and a sister and, Ben's whatever friend, but she's not like, hey, you guys clean up your rooms. Like, she's not forced into this campy, which the Jennifer Alba.
Jessica Alba.
That the Alba character was kind of forced into that campy sex symbol / mom figure / which is fine. It can be fun, but they allowed this, Vanessa Kirby to really do more with the character. And
yeah,
I was kind of shocked that everybody else put her above Pedro. I really did think Pedro had more, but they were they worked really well together. They had a great chemistry together. Again, I keep saying chemistry because it
felt
makes
like
so much of a difference when you're watching and it's like if you're watching Fast and Furious and you don't believe two people actually would kiss each other, it doesn't make any sense in the movie. Whereas in this, you're like, those two people are in love. Those people will do things for each other.
Yeah.
I think it's a terrific idea that it pans out that way, where she definitely gave her 100% performance in the character and was well written, and Pedro can be seen as 70% to 80% of the character, knowing that his actual performance chops can take it to that level. I think it makes sense now, this rendition of this team we're watching, and then going into Doomsday, you tighten the screw. Like Captain America, great example. Like Steve Rogers, yeah, great first movie, da-da-da. But by the time you get to Winter Soldier, he's more grizzled, he's hardened. Shit has happened, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, another layer to it. Which I didn't. Chris Evans could do that, but he did. But we know Pedro can rip it, so
And
I like that.
this movie, these two characters, you know, got the movie. It was their movie. They led the movie. I know it's the full family. I know Galactus is there and all that, but this was those two were the performance. They carried the movie. They set the tone for everything, and they did a great job doing it. So
I
that's
agree.
so now we'll talk about the others, the supporting cast.
Others,
So
others.
Johnny Storm doesn't get a ton to do. I did like that he got to be a little bit more sciency. He's like the character that never feels like he ever like why was he up in that? He's not a scientist. What the hell is he? Like he actually got to do something interesting on the
He's a
side.
linguist. What do you call it? Linguist.
Yeah.
Linguistic.
But
Linguist. Yeah.
why would a linguist be on an astronaut physics?
No,
Like,
but that's the
yeah.
thing. People discount Ben and Johnny,
Right.
but as like stupid or whatever. But they're astronauts.
Right.
You know what it takes to be a fucking astronaut.
Right.
But hold on.
Exactly.
We live in a world where we watch Armageddon, Sandra Bullock,
That's true.
all types
Yeah,
of
but they're not going up to
non-sciencey
drill.
characters.
So
Well, Johnny is.
I'll
if
put
he,
it
if
to
he
you
runs
this way:
into
in
Silver
Fan
Surfer
Four
again.
Stick, that Ben is pretty stupid. Like
Yeah.
he helps
Yes.
Reed build a device. Like he's a good mechanic, but he's
Yeah.
not scientific.
In the comics, he's not Pa Kent. He's got brains,
Right.
and
And we'll come back to Ben after, but yeah, like I thought Johnny they
Oh, Johnny.
yeah.
You know what? Most of the internet was complaining about
Mm.
that he wasn't a womanizer the way he was pictured, and like not so much the freaking comic books because you could tell people didn't read
Yeah.
too much of the comic books. Although he had many
The
different
Chris
girlfriends.
Evans one is.
It was the Chris Evans version.
Yeah.
And people are here like, that's not why did they make him such a simp or beta male or whatever? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like
He was
what are
a
you getting?
great.
And I realized,
One of the
these are the same.
one of the first things he said when he saw Silver Surfer was like, "She's hot," you know.
Right.
God. But even then, people was making fun of him like he's a dweeb. He has no charisma. He doesn't have whatever.
I don't think
And-
they gave those two a ton of time, and the stuff they were doing was very family oriented or trip oriented
Yeah.
or fighting
I'm glad
oriented.
they did. Yeah.
Like they just didn't have the time to be, hey, let's send them to the club and make for some reason Mr. Fantastic stretchy around the club. Like they didn't do any of that bullshit. Like so it
But-
was very
Yeah.
it's a very targeted movie, to be 100% honest.
And honestly, like if you look at it, you look at the movie. Johnny's like the brave one. He's the first one to jump out and go, "I got
Immediately,
this."
every
Yeah,
time.
every time. I got.
Yeah, he's cocky.
Yeah.
Which is close to Chris Evans' version.
Right.
But I guess they're just missing him all the ladies.
And I did like, because I didn't see it in the ads, I liked him and Ben's slight, brotherly.
The brotherly thing, right?
And I wasn't seeing that in the ads, and I was glad, so happy to see it, because I actually love those two
Yeah,
in that relationship.
That's been a staple too.
that scene where he's carrying Ben. Say the
Oh, yeah.
thing. Say the.
Say the thing.
I love it.
It's good. And go to Ben. The same thing. Like we got some Ben private moments. Interestingly, like in his Yancey
was
Street or
weird.
whatever it is, him being
Weird.
kind of sad.
He was
Like-
on Lancey Street, which is, I guess, supposed to be Delancey, Mike.
Yeah.
Because the character's from Lower East Side.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I've more to say about this later. But he's beloved. But you can still see there's that bit of sadness in him. They don't really go into it very much. He knows what he is, but I thought his girlfriend was blind. I was confused.
Well,
by
that's the Chris Evans version, and I don't remember the comic book version if the girlfriend was blind too. But
I think there was one version of that, but
there was one version, but I think he had several girlfriends before
okay.
afterwards. But I think to me, the Ben character was underserved, and I knew at some point one of these four would be underserved. Some would say Johnny because they're expecting this womanizer version of him, blah blah blah. To me, that wasn't my issue. I think out of the four, Ben got least served with, despite the fact he probably had more time than Johnny, with this whole side story with the girlfriend, which really didn't mean anything.
Didn't
to
go
me.
anywhere.
And it felt, and I was hearing about this after I watched the movie on the internet that there were a lot of scenes that were cut, including John Malkovich supposed to be the whole ape scene,
Yeah.
which we'll get into the plot. Um, so there was supposed to be more building with what's her name from Poker Face
Mm-hmm.
Natasha Leone.
and Ben,
Yeah.
but I guess because for time they cut some stuff out, so it felt so disjointed. Like that last moment where when he's about to when he goes to the Sabbath, I guess I'm assuming it was the Sabbath, the
Well, she
synagogue,
asks if he's doing it for
if he
religious
wants to,
reasons, and he's like, no.
yeah, and he's like no, but then I think the very last time you see her is one of the skyscrapers are falling, and I'm thinking he's about to do like a Mary Jane, Spider Man type of thing. That doesn't happen, and I'm like, what was the purpose of even bringing this story onto the screen about him having this?
I got a response to that. So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the way I saw it was, you're looking at a man who basically has lost his humanity, and he's trying to find it. He's just sad. Like, this huge part of him is gone, and he's not getting it back, and he's trying to find it somehow. Stroll through the neighborhood to get bagels, right, and the cookies. And for him, the cooking is a way to, stay in touch with that side of himself. But you see when he's shaving and he's looking at himself in the mirror and he sees, I'm just rock now. You know what I mean? So I think he's trying to stay in touch with that side that he's lost, and
Okay,
I think they did
I'm
it
with
well.
you so
So
far. I'm with you so far.
yeah,
Except for the girl scene, how does that correlate? Him trying to find, because he doesn't really do anything that makes me think that he's going to initiate a relationship with this girl. He's just kind of lurking.
I think that's probably a fault of the timing in the
I
script,
think so, too.
not allowing
Yeah,
him.
it feels like there was
do
more
that.
to that, but they cut it. And if they're gonna
Yeah.
cut it, just give me the scenes where he's going to a restaurant looking like everything you said up until that relationship works well.
Mm,
Enough for me for Ben's, personal side story.
And if I want to throw this out there, like, stop trying to give me setup for the next movie in an after credit scene. Give me a fun scene where Ben is having dinner with her, like asks her out for a date.
Well,
Like,
so you must have loved the Superman and Crypto post credit scene then, huh?
well, that was just them sitting there. That was fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want. Like, I want them eating. I want them eating shawarma. That's all I
This
want.
guy.
Like, that's a great after credit. So him and her on a date would be a more interesting after credit scene to me.
Like the
kind of-
Shawarma scene from Avengers.
I don't mind the setup post credit scenes, like in Thunderbolts with the Fantastic Four ship coming through.
Mhm.
As long as it goes somewhere and means something. Like at the end of She-Hulk when you show Sklar, and we never see him again, and then
Or at the end
Oh,
of Doctor Strange 2,
there's like a
when you see what's
graveyard
her
of
name with
movies
the
like
purple.
I still got to make that
Yeah.
in memoriam TikTok.
There's a great, don't
Yeah.
forget freaking Eternal.
Yeah,
Oh, Harry Styles, man.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if, as long as it, like, and that's kind of my only gripe.
Wait, come to think of it, Irish was supposed to come back and judge Earth, according to that post-credit scene in Eternals.
Well,
for the
we were
ending.
also supposed to get Blade after the end of
Oh,
Eternals.
and then Kang. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. All right, go
There's
ahead,
a
Mike.
lot of shit. Okay, Galactus.
Sure.
Let's do Galactus.
Love
Galactus
Galactus
was
in this.
really Galactus.
Yes.
That's it. Like, that's it. Just real fucking Galactus, just big and cool. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that. It was pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie. Are you done? Sorry, Chris.
Yeah,
We
go
get
ahead.
more?
No.
Nah, I'll be quick too. On the first viewing in a theater with Eric watching it, you knew it was coming. They were making that walk, and then Silver Surfer heralds Galactus, and then the camera kind of pans up and out, and then the two eyes come out. Yo, we both went like that. Oh, shit.
You couldn't
Oh,
quite see
no.
what it was. You're like, where is it? Where is it?
Where is it? Where I don't see a form, and then cat's eye type of thing comes out. You're like, oh, I was like, almost shed a tear. And then later on, you're like, oh yeah, why did they slim him down? Like this was unnecessary.
Well, he
Where's all the
changes
purple?
size. He can do whatever. The
I
hell he
know,
wants.
but I was like, where's all the purple? He's like
Oh,
navy.
yeah,
green.
he was a little gray for how colorful the rest of the.
I'm like, Disney's selling all this purple version of this, scale character from the movie. Yet he looks nothing like him. Like, anyway,
We may see him again in 616. So
yeah, I got a longer one in there.
he
But
might
that
be
should
more purple there, right? You never know.
No, it's supposed to be a different version.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike, your turn. Galactus.
I was so happy to see a proper, proper Galactus, man. So happy because that second you know that cloud. That's all I'm gonna say. That fucking cloud.
Okay.
Next.
Okay, Cloud.
Galactus. Before we end this, is the one of the few characters I think can never look good, other than a comic book page, because I've seen him in animation.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him, which it's like the X-Men art. Like, Chris, this is your world now. The way they always draw him. Even the Avengers XD and Disney XD, that was all like a Lego. um, this movie and everything, like, he is one of the few characters that just looks fucking awesome on splash page 1D, 2D,
Well,
and nothing else.
it's one of those things where sometimes the weird, over designed, like mechanical stuff can feel obnoxious, but with something like someone like Galactus, it all works. Like all the different tubes and the lines and the bullshit, like all of that extra stuff makes him cooler to me. Like his face not being like a regular dude with a beard. He's not. What was it? What was the one in Wonder Woman who played the God of War, and he like
Ares.
he came up and he's like garbage Ares.
Oh,
and you're like,
God,
what the
yes.
fuck's going on here? Like this,
Yeah, I remember that.
but they
That
did
was-
something
yeah.
with the texture of the face that was really cool.
Yeah.
That made it
Yeah.
kind of mechanical but a little human, and there was something interesting going on. And yeah, I really liked the design.
It was definitely a win, man. Although you can't capture him the way the way he looks on a good comic book page.
Yeah, no,
This is the best version I've seen.
right. He
I mean,
wasn't
to-
as bright and colorful enough. I agree with that, but yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I thought the Celestials and Eternals looked good too. So,
Yeah, those are cool.
Arishem,
Yeah. and it's hard.
And
it's
he's
hard
not
to
as
do,
big
but-
as them, right?
Yeah.
He's much smaller than a
Yeah,
Eternals.
I think so.
Yeah, he is. He's smaller than Eternal, yeah.
Okay.
Than a Celestial.
A Celestial, that's what I mean. Okay. The biggest surprise for me, Silver Surfer. Okay. I was like, okay, she looks kind of cool. The reflections
Woke.
are neat. And then she surfed the fucking magma. And then she surfed the light
wormhole.
speed,
Mm.
The
wormhole,
accretion disk of a black hole.
Mhm.
The accretion disk.
using the surfboard as a surfboard in space won me over, and I am now a fan. Like, that's it. It was just the coolest thing I saw.
Hold
in
on,
the
Chris.
entire
Were you
movie.
familiar with the character at all before this movie in comics or anything?
I have read stuff that he appears in, like the.
No, I mean I'm talking about Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the
Oh,
Infinity
not-
Gauntlet
Oh, you
series.
say he? You meant Norrin Radd.
Yes,
Yeah,
Norrin Radd.
Norrin Radd, yeah.
I have never seen Shalabal before this.
Me neither.
Let me take this one then.
Mhm.
From Chris. So
Engage.
I am you guys, those who don't know me, I'm a huge Silver Surfer fan.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 character in Marvel.
It,
So I was slightly peeved when I realized that they wanted to do the Shalabal version as like the first iteration of the MCU Silver Surfer, because we did have one played by Lawrence Fishburne, voiceover anyway, in the 2 movies ago, whatever, the 2 IPs ago. I was aware of Shalabal's character from both the main timeline, where she's actually the girlfriend of Norrin Radd, and Zen La, who he has to say goodbye, makes a sacrifice to be Galactus Herald to save their planet. And then somehow Mephisto steals her soul, and he goes into... That's the main
damn,
timeline version.
Mephisto. Jesus.
Mephisto in the late 80s, early 90s was collecting souls, like...
It was like MJ collecting rings kind of thing.
Now he's with Ironheart. But he was getting street level heroes too. It wasn't just like the Silver Surfers. But then there was an alternate timeline, I forget what period, late 90s, early 2010s, where Shalabal was the Herald instead of Norrin Radd.
Mm.
So that takes place in a different, I don't know, pocket unit, whatever it is. So when the MCU's version came out, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be seen as like the MCU
Woke.
DEI woke agenda, whatever. I hate
MCU,
But you guys
baby.
know.
Shalabal
MCU.
you.
And I'm like, but I remain optimistic. I was like, just give me a decent version with the power sets that I want to see. I don't care if she has C cups or whatnot. Doesn't matter. and then you hit it right off the dude. Her appearance wasn't that great, although the visuals look great. And I didn't see an IMAX, so I'm sure an IMAX was better. I saw it in Dolby. But when she, two moments, I told you two moments that Eric and I kind of hit each other. One was that, the Galactus, and the other one was when they thought they were about to escape by going to warp the faster than light, FTL. And then Eric was like, she's got the cosmic. What are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah. We said the same thing out loud, and then 2 seconds later, pew, like she's in the wormhole.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, that's my Silver Surfer. You know, he, she doesn't matter. They, them. And then you said it also when surfing the not the lava, but the accretion disk of the black hole. That was something that I was like, this is phenomenal. Great concept. It's a great use of the board that we've never seen before, other than again comic books, not even animation. Comic books.
Yeah,
It
because I've
takes you
only
back to
ever
that.
seen him like just like he rides it and he looks cool, but he's just like straightforward.
And he's
really
also
fast.
another character that looks better on the page than on live screen or animated.
I will say the one
Except
thing that
for-
was cool about that other Fantastic Four movie, that his first appearance in that Fantastic Four movie, I was like, is this going to be a good movie? No, it wasn't. But
Oh, Lawrence, yeah,
that
yeah, the big bait and switch.
that
yeah.
was an amazing entry. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, this version to me looked the best, other than the comic book page. I think this version, again, like the two antagonists to me look perfect and they fit their role. We could talk about the plot critique next, whatever.
the board is
But
that
these
part of
standalone
you, or
characters-
is that?
Standalone characters and performances, I think they were pretty good. I would have wanted a little bit more from Silver Surfer, but that's a plot issue down the road.
Again, only two people really got a lot of time and space.
And it hurt the grade of this movie, but
Oh.
let's see where I
I thought
land.
Julia Garner did a great job. Those of you who know her from Ozark, I think she won an Emmy for that role.
Yep, she did the last season.
And I'm glad they were able to capture her expressions and stuff like that, because you could see it when she was talking to them. And
I'm like, that is not her body type.
no,
You've seen Ruth.
they embellished,
Manipulated.
took some liberties there, but
Yeah. I mean, they do it to the guy sometimes too.
Yeah.
The super pecs and traps and everything. Yeah, so it's only right.
So, I think the where we go next is
Hold on, can we talk about tertiary characters real
Oh.
quick before we get to the plot?
was there?
Shout out to Herbie.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's right.
I thought this would be like another Crypto, and it wasn't. It should have. That's what Crypto should have been like in the movie. Like there were little things that were cute, like when they switched tapes.
Oh,
from
I didn't
Earth
even
to
know
space.
Kirby.
Yeah.
they did that.
There and then the moment near the end when when basically Fantastic Four has been whipped and Galactus now approaching it, Franklin, and it's only Herbie's the last line of defense, and he closes the shield. Galactus rips it apart, and he's like a C-3PO mixed with like a BB-8 little. I'm like, that is great. Like that's what Crystal should have been like. And then Franklin. The last other major character is Franklin Richards, which, for those of you who know, he's
Breaks
an
the
omni-level,
entire MCU.
multi-level. He's like top 3, but below certain gods of Marvel. He's like right there. And the CGI baby issue becomes an issue in a lot of these movies.
Yeah, at the end with him and Thing, with Thing holding him, and it was rough. But I'm not gonna
It was rough.
after how cool Galactus was, I'm giving them some leeway with the baby and Thing.
So yeah, I want to make sure we round out the tertiary characters too.
yeah, I thought
I
Mole
could
Man
tell.
was good in it too. So
Mole Man, that guy keeps getting checks since Cobra Kai.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He was quiet. If you look at his IMDb, he was quiet before Cobra Kai, and then after that,
Again. So I love the visuals of this movie. I love that I was expecting them to have this cool mid-century modern design opening and then switch to the future or switch to 616 or something that breaks it. But they held fast on the visuals through the entire movie, and it made all the difference. I thought.
Chris, would you say since Avengers Endgame, this is the Marvel movie with the best visuals you've seen since Endgame?
Absolutely.
I agree.
So
I think Eternals comes as the second closest.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that had cool visuals kind of went a little muddy. So if you remember like the dragon at the end of
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, I love the dragon, but it was very muddy. Everything was very dark.
Mm.
And it tends to be like if you look at Thunderbolts is like the peak of how bad visuals in the MCU can be.
No, Captain America 4.
No, I would say uh just for the muddy brown gray visual, not because like bad
Oh
CGI,
yeah, you're right.
because
You're right.
Thunderbolts went really simple, very down to earth, so it wasn't bad in CGI land. It was the color
Color
dead,
palette. Yeah,
yeah, the palette,
it was muted. I
as
agree.
opposed to, you're right, like Red Hulk looking like a Lego, those kind of things. So those are two different problems to me. The oh shit, we're gonna put the Red Hulk in this, right? And everybody's like, we are, yeah, yeah, let's do a fight on the island.
There
And they're
goes
like, you
our
got three
grounded level
weeks.
movie.
Like that's what it feels like sometimes. Is the Marvel people are like, yeah, you got 3 weeks to finish this. You guys can do that, right? And so, um,
Mike, did I cut you about the visuals?
No, no, no argument
All
there.
right. I think we should just go into the plot then.
yeah, just
That's
go
what's
into the
left.
plot. That's where we're going. Okay.
Let's slice
Um,
this up.
like I kind of wrote kind of a screed about the plot, and
Jesus.
and it's actually a positive thing about what I think the plot is, as opposed to something I saw, because I try to avoid reviews generally before we do our review. Um, but
Honorable.
but you get the short bursts of reviews, you get TikTok reviews, you get stuff like that you run into,
So
and
you're
some people.
coming in with no prejudice.
I'm trying not to have someone else's idea like infest my own. I'm trying to be
Okay.
original here, whether or not it sounds right. I'm not. So
Let's hear it, brother. Let's hear it.
so one thing I specifically saw is the review said something about the lack of tension in this movie, that it was very safe and everything kind of just worked out. Um, and I kind of see that, and you're looking like this family is perfect. They're kind of the perfect family. Is they were complaining that we'd already gone past the point where Ben's skin was a problem within, which isn't true, but okay. They were saying we didn't get much out of Johnny, that the division between Sue and Reed about Franklin was short lived, and just it was over the next scene. Those kind of things. So I see what they're kind of saying, but I actually don't agree. Um, at the start of the film, this Fantastic Four is perfect. They're in the perfect. They've created the perfect world. They've created the perfect family. This is true. I agree. But they have worked to do this, right? This isn't just magic. It's something they did. Um, and one of the things is because they always have the answer. Everything kind of comes easy, especially for Reed Richards. He's the smartest man in the world, or one of the smartest men in the world. So he's always has an answer for a problem, right?
Mm.
So things kind of come too easy for them. But in this movie, between the pregnancy, the appearance of Galactus, and Galactus's specific realization about Franklin, breaks this perfection bubble.
Mm.
And the drama, the tension comes with suddenly there's a realization there's no easy answers, even for the smartest man in the world, even for this perfectly harmonious family in a
You're cooking.
perfectly
You're cooking.
harmonious world.
Yep.
So, because you can't just solve parenthood, you can't just solve Galactus. There's no equation for that. And this realization and how it breaks into the family, it opens old wounds. It pushes on pressure points of these relationships. As we see, there's a scene where Ben and Reed are talking quietly, and Reed reiterates that he feels sorry for what he blames himself for Ben's condition. And Ben is
Yep.
like, it's okay, dude. I get it. I'm living with it. Even though we see Ben, yes, he is, but he also feels this. But he doesn't blame his friend. But
Right.
these are tension, these are pressure points within this family that they have to overcome consistently. And the beauty of this fantasy of a movie, it's a really simplistic fantasy positivity movie. And
It's a simple comic book
right.
issue.
And these problems may not be solvable alone, but they are workable as a family and as a community. And so when Sue walks out and she gives her big speech and the world rallies around them, it's the fantasy. It's the same thing with Superman. It's a fantasy that we want. That the oh look, they're they don't want to give up their son, and yes, that's probably the wrong way in reality to handle the cosmic entity coming to destroy the earth. But we want to see people overcome that with family, with community, with intelligence, with caring. And that's with collaboration. It's kind of the perfect superhero family we want. And that's what I loved about this movie is it provided that. And as we've seen in the last 3 movies, like this family, this positivity is really won over a lot of crowds and a lot of fandom. And yeah, that was kind of my answer. I kind of was because
That was a well-oriented review of the movie without giving your grade.
right.
And the
Yeah.
best part is when they said family and Dom Toretto drove in and it was like
Family.
somebody's
And then they were
family.
drinking Coke Coronas post-credit scene. Coronas. I'm gonna be a little more technical in
Yeah, go
my
for it.
synopsis. I think where the movie struggles a bit is not so much pacing, visuals, and music, which was greatly done by Michael and Mike, and I'm going to kill his last name, Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
Oh my God, I can't. I'm not getting his name now. Oh,
And I've affected you. Our favorite composer who did
Giacchino.
Lost and Gianchino, who did Lost,
I
who did
sound
my
like me.
favorite TV show, and he did the Batman recently.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought his son did the
they-
Batman.
oh yeah, you're right, his son.
Mm.
They're both Michael then, I think. Michael Jr. Michael.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, so where it struggles to me is the actual story, not the story, the technical narrative part of the story of how to how to get from A to B to C with the MacGuffin in the middle of all that.
Mm.
Much like the other competing movie that this summer blockbuster for superhero movies, Superman, you had to disbelieve a lot for it to make sense. Like this all powerful being, like you set this universe pretty well. Things make sense to me. But now you've got a uber powerful being that you've somehow escaped, come back to Earth, and as you're coming up to all these different ideas, that super powerful being does not win. Yes, you could write me a beautiful heart scene about the mother, Mama Bear giving her life. Great, I love that. And then betrayed by its own herald, pushed back through the portal, he comes back. Great, I love that. But when my comic book brain comes in, I'm like, none of this shit really made sense. It ain't made sense that she came to give him advance warning. Doesn't make sense. But I know how it happens in the 1960s comics. I know the story. I know it very well. But now, as I'm watching the movie, the way they react is supposed to be more logical than the comic book version, but it wasn't. To me, it's like, what are you doing? Why would you go do advanced scout and not prepare the Earth? Okay, you want to get more information. You want to collect data. That's a smart man talking, right? But you get there, you're fighting for your life to escape, and you get back. And then the very first moment, they should have never told the world anything. Like, that speech should never happen. Like, that's the Donald Trump and Frank and Reed Richards there.
Well,
Like, dude.
the way you said they play Reed kind of on the spectrum here,
Yeah.
and that's
Yes.
kind of like you asked me a question, well, I'm going to give you the answer.
And I
Right. I
don't
don't think
like
he was
that.
gonna. Yeah, I don't think the deceit is.
Like, there's
Yeah.
there's Neil deGrasse Tyson and then the Stephen Hawking.
Well,
part.
that's when you need like a Sue, or you need to use a character like a Ben
Sue or a Ben. Ben would have been perfect
who
here, right?
who says
Perfect place
he,
for Ben
he
to shine.
sees what Reed is. He knows what his best friend will do. He's going to be honest. He's just going to say the thing. He's going to expect people to react a certain way. And Ben has to be the more understanding of what the public will understand.
He did that
And
though. When they asked, "Did you defeat him?" and Reed said no, and then Ben chimed in, "Not yet."
No,
right.
yeah, Ben. Oh, you're right. Ben did step
Yep.
up, and the conference should have been over. We were working
Right,
on a solution.
exactly.
That's it. And then bring the press secretary, bring the current press
Yeah,
secretary
shouldn't
to
have said anything about the
deflect.
kid, definitely.
Yeah.
But
So
again,
the black lady who was in charge of them, failure on her. So I don't want to get long-winded on the plot and the technical issues I have. Is okay. So you come up with a plan. You prove that you are the world's smartest man by teleportation device, which is better version of what they did in the comic books with the ultimate nullifier, which was trash. So this was a better
what does the
solution.
ultimate nullifier do? Just remind me.
It nullifies the existence of humanity. Then they realize they
What?
can't kill Galactus because I'm not gonna get to
It's
that.
basically the snap
Um,
without the stones.
Yes, it was one of the most original MacGuffins before the cosmic cube, the ultimate nullifier. Anyway, so you come up with this plan, shit goes array. So you come up with a backup plan, and this is where I get Galactus. To me, was not served with his full powers because he should have made easy work of Sue Storm. Like they basically showed him as not even Godzilla, Godzilla without the atomic ray.
Okay.
Like in the comic books, he's well equipped to just shoot right through Sue Storm's
Well, one
block
thing
shield.
I did see a TikTok that went through the feats of comic. Now, again, this is comic book versus MCU, but went through the
Yes.
feats of MCU or not MCU of comic book Sue Storm defeating Celestials, or at least defending
Yeah.
against Celestials.
At some point,
So
Spider-Man
she
fought a Celestial.
is at that level. If you
I
want to go
understand.
there, yeah.
Spider-Man. Oh, what's his name? Punisher. Yes, at some major feat written by a character can do that. But the point is, you didn't show me Galactus at full power at all. He just walked
Oh.
around.
That's true. I agree with that. Like, I also probably would have, hey, the baby's over there. You, person who moves at the speed of light, can you just go grab him for me?
And not even that. The point is, you give us the whole. You build the tension. People complain about there's no tension. There was tension here, where he was about to step into the circle, the supernatural circle of captivity, and then he realized, oh, and he just steps. He doesn't even put his toe. He looks and he sees, oh, Franklin. Like, why did you write that? Like, they didn't. That. What does that show me?
It's to give him, I would think that gives him, okay, he's not just a big, dumb monster where he's just moving forward, trundling.
But you're not showing me
There was
what made him
something-
realize it was a trap.
There was. I gotta watch it again, but there was something that caught his attention. I think, or he said something or saw something that
Well,
made
the
him
fact
stop.
that Reed is sitting there with a big switch.
Yes, I think the fact that they all look like they were standing there for the trap. And then he stopped, and then he looked and he scanned and saw that, oh, Franklin's over there. He goes, cunning, whatever,
Yeah,
human being,
cunning
whatever.
humans
Nah.
or-
And then he pivots. He does a right face. But again, this isn't me nitpicking. It's really the plot. Like, a lot of the stuff didn't make sense. But then again, if you look at the comic book version, it made less sense. So that's my negative of my review. My positive is something that I was hoping that you would mention, Chris. You kind of danced around it. Is these superhero movies really have one big goal, right? Superman was supposed to make me believe in Clark Kent, Superman being like a symbol of hope amongst the most powerful of super meta human beings. It really didn't give me that. It gave me a version of Superman which I did enjoy, but amongst a team of like the Justice Gang, the U.S. government, the Daily Planet. It was like, okay, you're in Friends type of guy. Will I accept? Fantastic Four was supposed to sell me on this Marvel's first family superhero team and its impact to the Marvel landscape. And I believe, despite the fact that Ben being underserved and Johnny kind of being, a little bit played around with, the strength of the two main leads, and then ultimately the Franklin Richards plot kind of worked too, made me feel like, yes, this is indeed a superpower family unit that is close to, if not better than a comic book version. Not as good as Incredibles, but very good version. And to me, that's the aim of these superhero movies, is give me the heart. What story are you trying to sell me? Okay, Superman, believe in hope, super powerful guy. Oh, Fantastic Four, family love each other, save the world. They saved the world, and they were a family unit. So to me, it outweighs all the critical, technical stuff that I was mentioning earlier,
Yeah.
and that's my all-encompassing review.
All right, so why don't we do
But hold on, Mike.
grades?
We didn't get Mike's.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm just gonna add. Yeah, I think for the MCU's first outing
Mike got Russian roulette there.
of
If you
Fantastic
know.
Four, mission accomplished. I think
Mhm.
I for the most part, great job.
Is that a George Bush mission accomplished or a Top Gun Maverick? Top Gun Maverick mission accomplished.
Yeah, I'll say Top Gun.
Mhm.
All right, mission actually
That's
accomplished.
right.
All right, so why don't we give grades here? And if you have a shout out to a scene or a character or whatever, give it to me.
Mike.
So I love this movie. I hadn't really thought about a grade, but I think I'm also gonna go A minus, like I did with Superman.
Mhm.
Whew.
Yeah, overall, I gotta watch it again. I'm gonna watch it a few more times. Obviously, you guys know me because every time I watch it, I'll rewatch a movie. I'll
To find
text you
something.
guys
Mhm.
Yeah.
like, how the hell did he do this? I'll
See,
start nitpicking.
but that's the Mike that I want to see first strike at bat on these podcasts. I don't want to see 10 movies deep, Mike,
I know, but
cracking my
Eh,
head with actual salient
if
points. I'm like, oh
I
shit,
don't have
it,
good
time to
point,
watch it
Mike.
3 times before we, do the review, right? So,
it's also one of those things like my the first hour after something I feel, and then 24 hours after I think. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So you walk out of the theater, you're like, oh, that's the greatest thing ever. And then 24 hours, you're like, what the fuck was going on? Like I want to kind of mix those two feelings before I give a real review. But I'm gonna.
Hold on, Mike. You didn't tell us your favorite scene or
Oh
moment or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
hmm. I think probably that escape from when they went to see Galactus and that escape and the
yeah.
whole
That
through
was
the
good.
wormhole chase, and I think that was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a three of a kind right here with favorite moment.
Well, all right. So I'll go next, and I'll let James go last. I'm gonna go. I'm having trouble. Like I'm going. Is it? Do I feel the same as Superman? Because I think I do. Like about the same, and not for and for different. A lot of the same reasons I like it, even though they have different problems. This is a very simple movie, whereas Superman was overly complex. This is kind of almost overly simple, but I'm gonna go A minus. I think I have to. And my favorite scene, because Mike already called out the Great Escape scene. I think that is probably the best action scene of the entire movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say when Reed is trying to test Franklin when Sue is pregnant, and they're having that kind of back and forth about whether he's right or not. And Sue's like, "Well, let's see," and then she freaking makes her stomach invisible. I was I was like just in shock. Like I was like, "Wait, you could do that? That is really weird
the
and kind of disgusting, but also really awesome."
the
Like
perverts had a field day with that one.
there,
Perverts were
wow.
asking, "Where's all the placenta water while she's giving birth and zero
Oh,
gravity?"
the perverts online were like, "Did she do that when they were getting it when they're
Oh,
getting it on?"
mm,
So
yeah. Let's. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, there's some sick individuals out there, man. Even in comic nerd
All
yeah,
right. Even a lot of them do it.
especially, I should say, my bad.
So
Especially.
I just thought that was an amazing scene
yeah, that was cool.
and kind of cool visual, cool character moments, cool emotional moment kind of thing. Kind of fits all of the things I loved about the movie. So A minus for me. And James, you get to tell us. You get to end.
Uh, I guess I will start with the grade. My grade is good. All right, so much like Superman, which I did review on this podcast, Instant Reaction, I had a certain grade, then I had some time to think about it, and then listening with you guys, going back and forth, my grade stayed the same for that movie. This movie, I think it was basically the same thing happened, where I had an initial reaction in the theaters, um, looked up online some information, and obviously I listened to other reviews, and then listening to the two of you guys, I think it doesn't raise my grade, which wow, I'm shocked that I'm below you guys. I'm at a B plus.
Hmm.
Oh, that's good.
It was a B plus leaving the movie theater. Eric had it a B minus, and he flipped it around. He had Superman B plus, and this one B minus. I was the reverse. Superman B minus. This one B plus. Um, I'm not quite there with the A minus because I think a lot of the technical stuff and me being a huge Silver Surfer fan, I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, the score was great. Score was better here than in Superman. But I can't give it an A minus. I had some technical flaws with the. That's just me these days. Ever since I don't know Deadpool, actually even including Deadpool Wolverine, I'm starting to be really harsh on these superhero movies and
That's
the
okay.
story plot. But again, I said earlier the theme hit. Best moment, three of a kind, guys. And I'm gonna say from the introduction of Galactus to the exit. So the great intro to the great exit is pretty much my most rewatchable moment in that movie.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's on any given moment, I'm watching that
And
till
also
we make it back to
visually,
Earth.
it's just perfect. Like
Yeah,
they spent
I
all their
gotta see it
time
in
and
IMAX.
money there, and it worked.
I have to see it in IMAX or 4K.
Mhm.
One last thing before we close out. An underrated moment, which to me set the tone. We didn't talk about. We did. I talked about theme. But we didn't talk about pacing. Our usual nerd cinema talk. But the tone setter for me was I don't know about you guys, but in my movie theater we went through trailers, and then they hit us with the Avatar trailer, right? And then you go directly into this movie. The pregnancy, the whole intro to this movie without the Marvel Studios logo was them finding out that she's pregnant.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is something different.
And him looking
Holy
for the
shit.
iodine.
And then it go from there, segue into the news flashback story, whatever. I'm like, oh, this is some heavy thinking that gave us that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I see where this is gonna be very adult. Like, So to me, that actually, jump started me with the movie. And I honestly I think the first act, I don't know what point the intro, I think that's the second act, maybe. The moment that we all like the best.
Mhm.
I think from the intro to that moment could have been an A plus movie.
Hmm.
The third act and the story and how they're going to defeat Galactus to me started dragging the movie down to where it lands at a B plus for me. But those first 2/3 of the movie to me was like at least an A, if not A plus.
Well, interesting. I'm just gonna point out here that I looked it up recently, and this is probably a first for a very long time. So Rotten Tomatoes, not really, we don't really care much, but Superman has, we'll go with audience score, 91%. Great response. Fantastic Four, audience score, 93%.
Wow.
Hmm.
Thunderbolts, 91%.
Oh wow.
So we've
What
got,
about Captain America 4?
well, I'm wait, was that this year?
Yeah, wasn't that February?
Oh shit, that might ruin my, because I was like, this is like the best
Yeah,
year for
that's
superheroes we've
February.
had, where
That was on Valentine's. Yeah, I
nobody's
remember.
bitching. I forgot that movie existed this year.
Yeah, it was around
Um,
Valentine's.
trying to find the score here.
But we have like,
Because I remember thinking, why would they drop this during Valentine's? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
But
yeah, but we have three in a row that are getting great response from the audiences, and like we might say we're
yet
back.
still heavily critiqued in some circles, man. Still
It
heavily
is.
critiqued. And you know what's weird about this movie and also Superman? People that I thought that would like Superman didn't like it. People that I thought that wouldn't like Fantastic Four liked Fantastic Four, including Mike's buddy, Critical Drinker. I was shocked.
My buddy.
Like,
Holy shit. Okay. Um, FYI, Captain America 4 has a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Uh,
That's too low.
That is way
And
too
by the
low.
way, all these movies are too high at 90. But come on,
That's
Cap 4 is way too for
I'm
46.
gonna
Well,
count. So that's gonna be there's a racism factor in there
I was
somewhere.
about to say that, Mike. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want to be aware. We are aware these are very white movies. These are
Yeah, you're
very,
right.
very
The
white
race is
movies,
beating the gender here. Yes, I can see that.
and
Yes,
even like they're all led by white guys.
I'm curious how Ironheart is scoring, but
Oh,
whatever.
not good. I'm sure.
That's a data for another day.
So I guess the thing we were gonna leave with was,
77.
oh, that's not bad.
Wow,
Compare,
that's
that's
not
higher
bad.
than what I thought it'd be.
Mm.
Um,
Because
moving
come on,
forward,
man. Because in
move.
Sam's case, terrible actor, plus getting hit with, plus he's getting hit with unnecessary hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But okay, moving forward, who leads the MCU? So I think our top contenders right now are Reed Richards, Captain America, Doctor Strange, and Yelena, since we just had the Thunderbolts, turning into the new Avenger kind of a thing.
I'll let Mike go next because I think I have a more
And
shocking theory
Red
than Mike.
Guardian, obviously.
he's in charge of the merch.
He would be in his current administration. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably say they'll probably push it towards Reed. I think so.
I mean,
I don't
some of
know.
that has got to be the Pedro Pascal
Yeah.
of it all as well.
I want to say it's going to be something that, again, I have no inside secret info leaked to me, but based on the conversation we were just talking earlier about Reed Richards and where he can go and how smart it's going to be, but also known as other characters like Doctor Strange and Sam and Yelena, I think they're going to fracture, maybe not in Doomsday, but definitely by Secret Wars into like what we have in the comics, the West Coast Avengers, the regular Avengers,
I wouldn't mind
and
that.
then like the street fighting characters in New York City, and then like the Defenders of Strange and Hulk and so forth. I think we're gonna start seeing, because you're right. We're not gonna get the Avengers anymore. I think the actual we have the Avengers movie, which is gonna be like their flagship multi-team crossover, like in the comic books. But I think you're gonna start getting groups and teams
Mm-hmm.
with different leaders,
Yeah.
and then like the leaders of each team is gonna be like the MCU leaders. Like you're definitely gonna have Doctor Strange for sorcery and witchcraft and all that stuff, and supernatural. You're gonna have Reed Richards now as like the smartest man, who I guess Black Panther's character would have filled the role if not for his Chadwick's passing. Um, he's gonna fill the vacuum of Tony. He's gonna unfortunately fill the vacuum of Shuri, going back to Chadwick's character. And then you're gonna have like the street level guys, and it's gonna have to be the Thunderbolts. They're not necessarily Punisher street level, but Daredevil. But I could see them merging into like a version of the Avengers. They won't call it the West Coast Avengers because it made sense in the comic books, doesn't make sense in real world. But it'll be something like that, right? You can have 2 to 3 different
And then
major
you have the
groups,
Young Avengers.
and that's the fourth one. So I can see Marvel doing that if they're smart, and if they do that, somebody owes me $1 billion. But I
I
can see
I
them.
actually hope they do that. I agree with you. I think there's too many characters out there right now to make one team out of. It would be
Like,
kind of
be
obnoxious.
smart,
Yeah.
form these different teams, and carve your niche.
Lost your
we can't
audio.
Like write
We
stories
lost your
around it.
audio,
It doesn't have
James.
to be multi-level stories
Oh, there we go.
involving the Young Avengers. Give us like a Young Avengers level of antagonists. I think my Wi-Fi's. But yeah, that's where I think we're headed.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I hope that's the direction. We'll see after the big new Avengers movies get, and then the launch of
But yeah, I'm
phase
excited. I'm
six,
excited where MCU's going.
7, phase 8, whatever the fuck we're in.
We're in phase 6, my friend. We just started phase 6.
All right. Mike, where can people find us and tell us who they think is going to lead the MCU and the Avengers and the different Avengers teams if they exist?
Yeah, as usual, all over the internet at Heroes Peak, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications, and leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of the new Fantastic Four movie. And we just lost James. And, yep. Let us know, favorite moments for the film, and what else you're looking forward to in the MCU.
Okay, and everybody tell Mike he has to update his logo merch behind him. All right. Thank you for joining us. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Good night.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.